Hola, mujer.
Hola, Habibti.
So good to see you. I'm so happy you're my friend.
I'm happy you're my friend as well. Mashallah. It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
I mean, I can't imagine life without you now. You've become part of it.
Yeah.
How did it happen?
Imagine.
It just did. Alhamdulillah. It's a blessing.
Good start. But you know what? My therapist told me that everyone leaves. So I just wonder how long we have.
I mean, everyone leaves. If not by saying goodbye, then by dying.
Yeah, but actually, you know what? If I die first, then you won't leave. So yeah, that there is a escape from the situation.
Let's hope that it's going to be death. That's going to be the leaving here. But not soon. Haven't you heard women last, men die?
I have not
No, you know.
heard of it, and I refuse.
Men go down first, always. Now imagine when a man is older than you already, and they go down first anyway, what are the odds?
I heard that men who are married live longer and women who are married live shorter.
Well, I'm not married and you're not, so again, what are the odds following this logic? My God.
Oh my God, quick maths. How are you, mujer?
I'm good, enjoying my holiday, having 5 days off. Today is the third day. Got 2 more days to go. Been playing a lot of video game time.
The video game. The one and
video game.
only tank game.
And I told you,
Yeah.
I've been receiving gifts. It's crazy. The last of which was $100 purchase. Just like that.
What did you spend it on?
I haven't spent it yet. Remember, I am pretty economical. I'm not going to spend this money like that. I'm saving it for a better tank on a better day. No, I have enough money to buy the best tanks, but I'm waiting when they're on sale. I don't know, Black Friday, when is it? Before, after Christmas?
Yeah, before, yeah, I think so. No, I don't know.
I have no idea, but I have seen them cheaper before. I'm looking at the prices now. Now they're 50% off, but I know they can be 70% off. I'm just waiting for that.
Oh my God, you cheapstick, you mastermind of sales.
Yes.
I didn't know you from the
just
side.
because I'm getting a lot of game currency for free doesn't mean I'm just going to go and spend it all. That's a lot of money. But yeah, receiving gifts feels good. But he keeps saying that he has money, so I'm happy for him, He's 78. One day he was like, if anyone is trying to catch up with me and beat my score, you can't. I have money. So sometimes you'd be like, I spent $1,000 in the game this month. I'm like, all right, good for you. So he's retired, he's old, and he has money, and he's enjoying it this way. I think the game means a lot to him. So good for him. Good for the developers of the game. Good for the company. Much better for the company.
Do you remember when you first, I think it was for the New Year's last year, when you first invested in this game, $8 or 10 or 12, something like that.
Yeah.
And you were just so waiting for this to buy this new tank. And then you lost the game anyway.
Yeah. It was €8.
That was huge. And now you have 100 that and now and you're like, Wah.
Yeah. Things have changed.
Okay. People change. They say never change, and you didn't listen.
There's a whole online community of all people playing this game, and there's a lot of banter. They all have their own interests. One of them is obsessed with fishing and cooking fish stew.
Oh, wow.
Every weekend, he's talking about his fishing trips and his fish stew and how good it is. And I'm like, fish stew again? Man, give it a break.
But I love it that you're not talking only about tanks. You're just like, hey, what's up? How is everyone weekend's been? Well, I caught this huge fish. What did you do with it? I made this delicious stew. Oh my God. The recipe from my great.
No, it's not just about the game. We have one player. He disappears sometimes and then he appears again. He basically has diabetes, heart problems, blood pressure, and he just pops in and out, and he's like, yeah, I was just at the hospital, or I was just they have a life beyond the game. And
do you share things about yourself sometimes?
I would be like, I'm going to be playing more because I have a couple of days off, but I don't say what my job is, or they know I live in Vietnam, but they don't really know where I'm from, for example.
Why do you have days off, actually?
Oh, so 5 days off, 2 days on the weekend. One day is reunification day. Once upon a time, I think it was 74 or something, the North was triumphant and they got the country united, North and South, into one country. This beautiful country. This is Socialist Republic of Vietnam. So that's another day. And then there's Labor Day, Workers' Day. That's one day off. And then there's a day in the middle because it occurred to be in the middle. So they were like, well, might as well. That's why we have 5 days. Yeah.
No holidays here. Swiss people, hard workers. No Labor Day.
Huh.
I think. We'll see.
Okay.
Hey, but since you were talking a lot about your game achievements, I have one to share.
A game achievement of yours?
Well, game-ish achievement. I do have a new game that I told you about, but I did not achieve much there. But yesterday, for the first time in like a year and a half or something like that, I finally went out of Pearl League in Duolingo and I made it to the Obsidian League, which is like one before the last one.
Oh, wow.
And I've never made it to the last league, I think, or I made it for like 1 week and just immediately like popped out. Yeah.
Okay. Congrats, Mohair.
Yeah, thank you. I really want to make it to the last league. Yeah.
The Diamond League.
Oh, yeah, it's the Diamond, yeah. Oh, you know, because you've just hanging out in the Diamond League on a regular basis?
A long time ago, I was hanging there for a long time until I just stopped hanging at all, as usual. It was fun.
What I hate is that when you are not in the league, it gets locked and you don't even see the color anymore. Like, it's so mean. Like, I've been there.
Like, I know you go up, but you also go down.
Yeah.
Like, you can keep dropping back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, there's Sapphire, Obsidian, yeah.
All the way to the bottom, then you don't see even the colors in the front. And that's so mean because you've been there. That's crazy to think that you would want to stay there forever.
It's earned. You have to be earning it constantly, apparently. It's a privilege you have to work for. You know where this goes, don't you?
I know where it goes and I would rather avoid it. We've been there. But thanks to your family plan, I've been really like learning more Duolingo and I started the French course. I picked it up because like I was so irritated that I was making so many mistakes before and now I can do as many typos as I want. So thanks to you, I'm actually advancing this language a little bit. I'm glad
I could be of help. I mean, this family plan has only just the 2 of us, so far.
Yeah, I know.
Having is wonderful, Mohair. A wise old owl said that once upon a time.
I wish I had more.
There you go. It's wonderful.
I can't wait until I have a bit more.
Yay. Inshallah, you're going to have more and more every year.
Thank you.
We know for sure you're going to be having more year counts as in your age. So that's at least one thing. More experiences, more wisdom, inshallah. But yeah, hopefully more money as well. And babies.
Yeah, many, many, many other things like prosperities and hopes and dreams. Okay, just babies. I think babies I think they just minus the money. They don't add money really.
Oh, I heard sometimes they add money. You don't know. They could inspire you somehow. They could push you to work harder. They could ignite the fire in you to be making more money. Really, you hear a lot of stories from people that say, oh, after I got my first child, blah, blah, blah happened. They always talk about it as a blessing from God. I think they just get really pushed somehow into doing something more and they actually end up doing more and looking or working harder or getting smarter all of a sudden,
Well, God bless them.
They end up making more money. So maybe that's the answer, to have more things. There you go.
Maybe. I am thinking about a puppy.
That will not do it. I'm sorry. No. That will just cost you money.
Well, maybe one day. We'll see.
I'm all for puppies, yes. I like them. No, they're good. They're good. Yeah. How are you, Mohair? How have you been? Enough about me.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I didn't even share how I am. Sheesh. I've been worse and I've been much better and I'm good. That's long story short about me. Yesterday I had quite an a busy day. I did a lot of sport because my boyfriend was running a race and I had to run from one point of race to another to catch some pictures of him and to like cheer him up on the way. So I ended up exercising much more than I intended. This is like a very hilly city. And yeah, I mean, congrats for him for running like 20 kilometers.
Under 2 hours. Last week you said that was the goal. How much time did he take?
I mean, the goal of 2 hours was a bit too optimistic, I think. Taking into consideration he's been training for like 1 month and a half max. Like, come on. So now he did it in 2 hours, 8 minutes.
That's amazing.
But I know, like, damn it. It's for me, it's crazy good.
You know, we settled on 4 hours last time we talked. That's how long it's going to take us.
Yeah. We would do it in 4 hours probably.
But we'll also have a
or
coffee,
more.
so.
For me, it's a long day hike, like the whole day hike, basically, probably.
That's amazing.
Because it's not flat. It's like so uphill. It's so uphill.
Oh, wait. I was talking 4 hours if it were flat. But if it's uphill, let's make that 5 plus.
It was so it was so uphill that when it finally finished, the uphill part, and he was running only downhill, he was running at the same speed as the uphill one because of how tired he was.
Wow, okay.
So that's crazy. But enough about him. I was running uphill and downhill all day long. I mean, not all day, like 4 hours.
Okay.
With some Powerade in my backpack and looking for bananas because it was Sunday and like shops were closed and stuff. So congrats for me.
No,
congrats for him,
really
of
nice.
course.
You did it, guys. That's good.
Yeah. So that was it was a well-earned other half of a day in which we just like played Nintendo, read Dune, and that's it. So there is this guy I'm watching. He's called Hank Green. I watch his videos sometimes, and he had this in the title, "One Thing I No Longer Believe," or something like that. And that's what led me to have this idea for a podcast, because when I sat down and thought about it, it was actually very interesting to have 3 things that we no longer believe. And you said you gave it a thought while having one of your playing sessions. Is that true?
That is absolutely correct, ma'am.
Cool. I really wonder if any of what we say will be close to similar, maybe sometimes, because of course, I don't know. I have one point that is about religion. Do you have anything about religion?
That's the first one. It's the most obvious one. Like, okay, so I actually wrote 2 things. I did not write 3. I just wrote 2. So the first one was like that one thing I don't believe in anymore is the spiritual realm. So demons,
it's all, oh my God,
angels, like the things that we cannot see with our own eyes. And almost all of them are based on religious beliefs, one religion or another at least. And basically what
about your own spirit? Like the soul of you?
I used to believe in all of that, and now either I do not or don't know exactly or don't care exactly, you know? So
all right.
That's a lot of things. That's not just one. I mean, so the whole spiritual realm of existence, supposedly, you know, I do not believe in any of it. I like the idea of reincarnation. I would like if it were true, but I don't believe in it.
Cool. Now that you're saying it, I remember that last week we went with my boyfriend to a museum of Buddhism. Yeah, of Nepal. And I felt such a huge desire to like be a believer in something again. I was reading a bit on Zen, and I was in this museum like looking at all those icons that are just creeping me out and are super weird and scary. People like having orgies with each other and blood and everything. And I've been thinking like, maybe I could find my way to Buddhism one day. You know, that sounds like a good wishy-washy European midway for people who are spiritually lost like me.
From what I understand, Buddhism is based on maybe the idea that attachment to things in life brings suffering, and the goal is to not be attached and slowly ascend and alleviate into superior spiritual state where you eventually feel no suffering no more by not being attached to anything. And I just see it as a freaking escape from real life.
Oh, wow. This mischievous look on your face when you finish this sentence. I love it.
That's all I was trying to say here.
I love that you treat it as a challenge. Like, it looks like you just said something super, like, blasphemous, you know, and you just, like, gave me a challenge. Like,
it's anti-reality. It's not pro-life, in my own humble opinion.
yeah, I understand. In my opinion, it's not like that. Like, I think that's a common criticism that Buddhism gets. But I think it's more about accepting the reality of now and being humble about it. And I don't think nirvana is any superiority. It's like the opposite, because it's about dissolving your ego and like getting even rid of your identity, from what I understand. So there cannot be any talking about superiority, I think, when you don't even crave for anything anymore, like power or like
spiritual superiority.
I don't know, maybe.
I mean, when you reach a higher state of spirituality, you're being deluded. You're delusional in a way. And you told yourself a lie that you believe it. But what do I know? I'm just assuming things.
If you believe it, it's a belief. It's not a lie anymore. That's a slippery slope,
Yes,
but
yes.
that's...
If you believe it, it's kind of real.
That's my point. I would love to believe something,
Okay.
I think, again.
I do understand the joy of belief. Yes, it is joyous.
Yeah, it is joyous,
At
indeed.
least comforting in many ways.
Yeah. I don't know. I used to find meditation, for example, very helpful. And this is a tool that they use. So just by this logic, I would love to get back to meditation, for example. And this time I feel like I would be more open to add some, meaning except of just mindful one. That's just mujer. Be a bit more open-minded, okay? You're not losing me. Don't worry.
No, like if you become anything, I will be accepting that, inshallah, It's okay. You can be whoever you want. You can believe in whatever you want. Worst case scenario, I will be laughing at you and you'll have to accept my laughs. Like, it's going to be more challenging for you than me. And who knows, maybe tomorrow you'll wake up and I'm the one who's meditating and doing weird shit.
Exactly.
And then you'll have to laugh and I'll have to accept your laugh. So people change, belief systems change. Our internal journeys are not over yet. So I wouldn't be surprised if anything happens.
Of course. So what I'm saying is this is such a vast space, vast
Yes.
world of spirituality. And I'm willing to
Yes.
maybe start looking for something there.
We agree. I'm glad.
Peace. Namaste.
Okay, what's number one for you?
Things I don't believe anymore. I don't believe that hard work leads to success and safety. We don't laugh. Like,
Okay.
basically, I don't believe this American dream
Okay.
anymore. And
Okay.
I do think this is very much engraved in my culture. In Poland, we have this huge American, looking up to America culture. And it's not only the previous generation, it's still in my generation, I think, like this from rags to riches, kind of like, American dream kind of vibe, that if you really like kill yourself working in your youth, you will just like live in prosperity later. And that's not true, damn it. And I wish I didn't believe it half of my life, because I really pushed to the limits my body and my mind when I was a teenager. And that was a bit useless sometimes, yeah.
I agree with you actually here. I've seen people work so hard and barely make ends meet
Yeah.
all their lives. So, I mean, where I come from, that's normal, so. But they were not in America, so I don't know. But the American dream is not in Egypt, it's not in Poland. You
Yeah,
have to be in
exactly,
America
maybe.
to live it.
But I don't even know if American dream is there in America anymore. It's just the times go. And
I mean, I don't know if it's maybe, who knows. But like that place is very interesting. You hear stories, you see things. Could just be the TV. Maybe the reality is much better.
But I think that this is a bit American dream, just like also puts all the responsibility of your well-being basically on you. Like, oh, if you're not in the place that you were supposed to be, or if you're in danger, or if you're not making the ends meet, it's because you didn't work enough. Which is so obviously not true now. Like, people have multiple jobs and, you know, I have 2 degrees and what? It's just a bit of luck. It's just a bit of this and that. And not only job, it's not only job also. Like, having a good life is also, I don't know, family and friends and place and like so many ingredients. And I think it wasn't included in this American dream scenario.
Yeah, I agree. I agree on this one. Totally. Yeah.
Cool. So, your number 2?
So the second one is that true Western democracy is a hoax. I don't believe in this shit anymore. You know, growing up, learning about the Western world, democracy, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, voting, and how much people, as, you know, talking about the masses, the public, are actually in control of their own destiny. So I just came to believe that this is a big lie. And the truth is there is a system, and the system is much, much bigger than the masses. And once the system is challenged enough, it just acts like every other system, not so different from the one in China or North Korea or Egypt. They're all very similar once they're challenged enough. So it's like, if there's a little bit of welfare and a nice standard of living because of, you know, good economy performance for different reasons, the chances are it would look like people are free and enjoying a lot of good things.
Well, but you think that democracy is not a little bit of a reason for the thriving economy in modern society? Like you said, China or Korea, but... So. Those places are not very famous for having happy citizens, and the difference is the...
Are you sure they're not very... I'm sure China would have less homeless people than the US. I'm certain of it.
No, this for sure, but when we talk about...
the population...
Yeah, but what about freedom of speech,
they're less happy there. I don't know if they're less happy there. Maybe not.
Okay.
I have no idea. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're happier as well. I wouldn't be surprised.
I would.
Like... Most likely in China, people have access to healthcare that's affordable. But I'm not certain of that. I'm guessing, you know. But what I know is, like, you grow up hearing about what happened in, what is it called? Tiananmen Square in the 80s in China, and whatever happened in Syria, Iraq, Egypt during the Arab Spring. And you see protests being oppressed by police forces, and then you just wait for the right moment for France or the US to be doing the same, and it does happen, and you see it exactly the same. Yeah. It's very hypocritical, like that freedom of speech thing.
Sure.
If it does not meet the minimum requirements that the system has dictated, you are oppressed. You get oppressed.
Of course.
If you're still aligning with the system, you're cool. That's it. Like, you get brainwashed nicely. As long as you are still within that box, you're cool. But if you challenge it in any way, you also get oppressed. At some point, I mean, I don't know, during the Cold War, communists were not having a good time in the US, were they? A commie was pretty nice accusation that could take you places that you'd rather not be. Could you publish things pro-communism? I don't think so. It was like the war on communism. And now it's like different wars on different things. There is no true freedom of speech, in my opinion. Like, you hear now of protests in the US, for example, and different places of Europe, in universities these days, and kids are being taken to prisons because they're protesting or having encampment or whatever. I'm like, how is this so different from when it happens back home? Yes, the police will say, go away. You will not go away. They'll look you up. Yeah, it's so funny. We warned them. This is exactly what they do. It's against the law. Exactly. It is freaking against the law where I come from. Like, I see a lot of similarities, and it just, now it looks like it's just a big joke, you know. We have freedom of speech, we have whatever. Yes, you have. Maybe, of course, like, relatively speaking, maybe here is better than there, whatever. But all in all, like it's just because the challenges have not been big enough. That's all.
Yeah.
What's your second one? Or any comments on this
Yeah, I'd
one?
love to comment. Like, I totally see, your perspective. I agree. However, I do want to like note that I think what you're talking about is two radical approaches, and I don't think democracy is perfect, of course, and neither is, I don't know, communism or any other political system.
It's about the application always. It's not about the theory.
Yeah,
you know?
of course, it's about application. However, I do feel like people in Europe are, I don't know, like really free. I mean, you will never be really free because I have a limited choice in, I don't know, what I eat or what I wear or whatever. But traveling the world, I see that other people's choices are even more limited. And to make it even more scary, other people's thoughts are more limited because of the system in which they grew up.
I agree.
I don't know. It's just about putting it somewhere more in the middle than it is in the States or in China. And both of those outcomes are very scary for me. However, I understand you. Like, you no longer believe in this beautiful cotton candy idea that this will be like a perfect solution, for the economy or for the good
No, I
well-being
just don't
of
think
people.
that there is a place out there where you could truly express yourself without fearing consequences that could harm you.
Of course. I agree. And also, I don't know, this goes so much deeper, but what you want to express is based on your upbringing and culture and the country itself that you grew up with. So, like, it is a big circle in general in the end.
Sure. What's your second?
My second is a bit related to your first, which is I no longer believe in afterlife.
Okay.
And I remember how it kind of shifted in my mind. When I was a kid, I of course imagined afterlife as like just people living in clouds, having like cloud houses, and me meeting my family there when I die and everything. And it was just,
I had a similar image.
Yeah, like I just couldn't wait and to see God and to hug him, and everything.
Same.
And then the idea of it grew just so boring. I was like, holy guacamole, like if this is the idea, then I don't want to die and go to heaven because it's so boring. So then when I was a teenager, I learned that, like it's more abstract, it's all, and just like happiness and satisfaction, and we don't know, and it's just like blah, blah. So then I imagined it more like nirvana, the thing that you said, that I'll be just like a part, my soul will be just like a part of a bigger net, like it will be like a different dimension or something like this. And then I had such a problem in understanding what priests say and how it relates and how, like, why people are like just painting this. Like I really had an error there of understanding. And then I ended up believing just no afterlife, just closing your eyes and falling asleep forever, this kind of thing. It's not so sad though for me, I think. I once had this, if I might overshare a little bit, I wouldn't be myself. I once had this conversation with my uncle who lost his wife. She is actually my godmother. She was my godmother. And she passed away when I was, I think, 12 or maybe even 10. And I had a conversation like, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago with my uncle. We were sitting on the porch and he said that he didn't remarry, he didn't go for a date or anything. He's just like so in love with her. And he said that it's sometimes hard, sometimes he feels lonely, but he knows deep in his heart that he will just meet her again when he is dead. And he's just worried about this one thing, because when you make a marriage vow, you say that you will be together, you promise to be a married couple until your death. And he's just very scared that she will like not longer want to be with him when they are dead, because they will not be married technically. And to me, to hear this from, like, I saw how much of a burden it is, such a belief also. I don't know, like, I know it might be said that I just believe in blackness, but then anything from that is an upgrade. Like, I'm just like open, I don't know. But for him, like, it's so scary. Like, it's so easy to miss that point, and he is really scared that he will not be any longer married to his wife when he is dead, because all his life he's waiting to reunite with her, and that's very cruel. I don't know.
I understand,
So,
yeah.
it's a side story.
His faith is a little bit ambiguous when it comes to it, so he's not certain. That is a true burden, yeah, for a believer, totally. Well, I wish him strength, and if then, yeah, I hope they will be united again.
Yeah, me too. I really do.
If sure, why not? So I have not really I have thought about number 3, but I have not written anything. Like, I was thinking, okay, I used to believe in a fixed set of morals that I exactly do not anymore. So I don't see them as absolute. Now, everything is in the gray zone. Yes, depends on all the factors.
What do you mean?
Surrounding the story.
Motives, or what exactly? Like good or bad? Like what's your...
No, like killing people is bad, but isn't.
So you used to be more radical.
Robbing a bank is bad, but is it? Just like when you're watching Dunes and you see different sides and each side has a story. Each side seems to be having a good story or a good motive why they're doing what they're doing. And now I do understand that. I understand that when it comes to a lot of things, maybe somebody stole something, but what if he's not buying drugs? What if he has a family that's desperately in need and he's tried everything, he could not find a job? Somehow the system did not empower him or her, then should I be condemning them to, I don't know, life in prison or years in prison or whatever? I'm glad that there are rules and there are laws, but I would still allow myself to imagine a little bit of flexibility when it comes to it. When I was young, if I saw a smoker, I judged them hardly. And then at some point in my life, I was smoking myself. I would do it again. It's fun. Yeah, sure, it's unhealthy, but why did I see it as an immoral thing? It's because of the way I was brought up, a lot of different factors, all about my environment, where I come from, etc., etc. Yeah, I just don't believe in a lot of these anymore.
That's amazing. That's really beautiful. I know how difficult it must be, this path. Like I feel for me it was so connected to religion for some reason. I don't know, maybe just my home. But I used to be so judgmental, and I fight with it regularly. And my boyfriend sometimes tells me oh my God, you're so judgmental. And I just tell him, dude, you have no idea. You have no idea.
Yeah. You tell me I'm judgmental, and I'm like, I know, but you have no idea as well.
Exactly. You should be happy and bowing. And I made such a long way.
I'm the most open-minded I've ever been.
Yes, exactly. This is as good as it ever gotten. And it's been so much worse. So I feel you. All right. For me, the third one is very broad, but don't laugh, I have an explanation. I don't believe anymore in advice.
Yeah. It was a big thing when I was little. Everybody was giving everybody advice. Somehow now it has totally disappeared.
I advise you so much, don't I?
No, I ask for tips sometimes.
Oh, that's so different.
Yeah, of course. So about the definition.
All right.
I'll be like, okay, what you do now, that's a tip. So advice. It's a different perspective on life.
Exactly. I believe in people describing different perspectives, sure. Just sharing their view, but not I think you should do this, or listen, I will give you a tip.
Yeah.
I don't, because I've been a sucker on advice for a long time, because I don't know, I was young and I didn't really have any guidance, and I wanted to do it the best possible, so I would read books and just ask older people for their advice and everything. And everyone is saying something different, and it's just impossible to follow it all at the same time. And I just think that you are the only person who, at the end, can give yourself an advice. Everyone can advise just according to their particular life, and you are not them.
Yeah. I would always say, if I were you, I would do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because if I imagine myself in this position, that's what I would do. But you're you by the end of the day.
Yeah, I more talk about things like old people giving one advice for life for young people, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, this is what really matters. Or, I don't know, at the end of your life, you just remember this. You will never regret the, I don't know,
Cliches.
the days you didn't work or so. I don't know.
Yeah.
No one knows. No one knows. And, like, no one cares so much. Yeah, like, there's no... Life is so different. Life goes on also. And if someone tells me, oh, life is only love or something, this is obvious. Like, this is obvious. This is... Okay?
Yeah.
If it's general, then it's useless. If it's specific, then what are the chances it's for you?
Yeah.
So that's my maybe unpopular opinion.
Okay.
Big one.
All right.
That's all.
3 things we don't believe in anymore. I have not told you I watched Dune yesterday.
I just, like, how many times should I tell you, please voice note me immediately after you watch it, and then I follow it up, and you're just like, oh, I just haven't watched it yet.
I finished watching that film at like 1 a.m.
It's like 4:30 here. It means that we've been talking for 1 hour and a half today already, and you're telling me now that you've watched it? Come on, man.
Totally forgot to it's like I've been playing this game and it really distracts my mind, it makes me dumb. I'm not thinking much about stuff. I was watching the film pretty late last night. I finished at like 1 a.m. or something, and then played the game until like 3 a.m. I like my nighttime. And then I woke up today and I totally forgot that I watched it until you mentioned it now. And I'm like, I watched it, finally.
How was it then? Is it still Avatar?
Totally. Still Avatar number 1, not number 2, because number 2 is just irrelevant
for
here.
real.
Okay, what's happening is basically what he was kind of predicting, but I'm suspecting his sister is going to have a bigger story maybe in the future or something. Like, she seems to be the real special deal, considering who she is, and that blue water, the water of life, her mama drank while she was pregnant with her. So I think she would have maybe more power, knowledge, access, visions than him. Maybe she's the one that was promised to the universe, not him actually. I remember you talked about him and how he basically gave up and was like, okay, I'm the one. But he didn't give up. He was convinced. Like, after he drank that water of life and he was able to see things like his mama told him, he was like, okay, like, I'm doing this now, because he can see the past and the future, apparently. So he knows what's up. It's not like he's buying in a false story. No, he's embracing his new reality. But I felt pretty bad for his lover, he's just gonna go marry someone else. A traitor. Yeah. That was heartbreaking, man. I did not see it coming. I thought he was gonna die.
It's just political,
I was waiting for him to die, but he didn't die. Instead, he proposed for the daughter of the king. Emperor. Whatever. But, like, it's alright. I enjoyed it. And my God, like, they're using a lot of elements from my culture. So many.
Right?
Oh
my God.
Many. Like, the fedakin is a word that we have in our language that's like freedom fighters,
Yeah. Some words are copy-paste. But also, maybe it's like super racist and mean and stuff. But when they were showing how they are destroying the Sichtabr, or I don't know which part they were destroying, and then the pictures, they just look like Palestine pictures, just the same kind of, like, kid just sitting there. And I'm like, of course, I know it's reality in the real world, but just the composition, like, everything was the same, like, taken
like when they're
from
praying,
the news
they're wearing
about
the hijab and, like, they're saying a lot of Arabic words. But it's like a mix of Arabic and something else. I don't know, Farsi, maybe Turkish. I'm not so sure. Like the word usul. You know what the word fundamentalist is in Arabic? It's usuli.
Oh, what a coincidence.
So that's like his name. And I'm like, hell, like, what's happening here? This story is really, really inspired, basically, by real life.
But Muad'Dib means nothing, right?
Not in my language. Not the way I heard it, no. Deep alone means wolf, but this Muad'Dib is not a word that exists in Arabic now. But yeah, I was all sure. But yeah, I mean, it was nice. It was a nice watch. It was good to watch. Not a lot of surprising elements there.
I got it. Like, it's, as you said, a bit like we just watched this movie from so different perspectives. Like, I was just so focused on this singular philosophical fate, let's say. And you seem to be looking at it more from like a strategical, social view. And
I'm not a big fan of your favorite people, the Bene Gesserit. What are they called again?
Gesserit.
Yeah.
What? Did I say that they're my favorite people? What?
I think you did, no? Like, that's who you admire most or something? Like, how they plan things and how they're running the show? To me, they're not good.
I think they're evil, though.
Yeah, I think they are. Like, I'm not really liking them so much. I'm like, guys, like, what the heck is happening? It's like the example of those stories about the Illuminati or whatever, like this secret society controlling the world and like plotting everywhere.
But I gotta say, like, I'm in the book 3 and the things that are happening there is like bonkers. And yeah, the movie is just like surface. Like, I can't even talk about it anymore.
But how is it not a classical story, just like the Avatar Part 1? Isn't it a story of reality, historically speaking? Like, instead of thinking of interdimensional, intergalactic travel or whatever through spice, instead of looking at these as great houses, you could just look at different countries with different cities, different emirates. You could choose spices, oil, gas, diamonds, anything, and look how wars start and end and how alliances form and cease. Like, it's a very, very like realistic kind of film.
Yeah, but to me, it's the first time that it's shown from such a personal perspective. And that's what is so interesting to me. The fact that I see his thoughts, their feelings to each other. Like, it's always a historical story. The characters are not as deep. The characters are not as personal. Like, you feel about those people as like figures. And here you have like, this could be you. You can see how it's not evil or planned or anything. Like, it's just like that. I think it's very philosophical. It's just everything intertwined within each other. Like, I know that you insist on things being good and evil, but I don't think those things are actually good and evil. I think for me still in these movies, everything is just gray. Everyone is trying to get by. No one is evil for no reason. It's just like generations after generations, reasons after reasons after reasons after reasons. And I don't know, for me it's deep and I like this different perspective on bigger conflict.
The great houses, we don't even hear from them. We don't know who they are. That's that house of Baran or whatever, I don't remember their name.
Harkonnen.
They explicitly want power and money and control. And it's clear, they are not trying to act like they're in the gray area. And then you have the emperor, and he just want to maintain things and basically eliminate any kind of potential danger. Just like a king killing his nephew because he's got so much influence. Or, I don't know, an emperor putting his son-in-law in jail because he got too many friends. That happens so much, so often, until today. And it happened a lot in history before. So he's just playing a very, very normal political game here. And then you have the House of Atreides, and apparently they're like a little bit of independent in a way. You could see that they're going to have their own way, and that, is a kind of a threat to everybody else. And then you have the people from the planet, and they want independence. They just want the planet to be theirs again. They want trees again. They don't want to be used and abused over and over again. And okay, like for me, it lacks any creativity. Like, it's all just realia happening.
I know. I don't think that any depth could be shown in this amount of screen time, though. It's too complicated of a world to show more.
But it's a great watch, though. Okay, the book, you've been reading it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, book versus movie rating time.
The first movie, I'm not a fan. I watched it and I was like, okay, it's a good movie. I'm not sure I would watch it again. And I'm not sure if I want to see the second part. Like that. And the second movie, I'm blown away by. I think it's extremely good in its genre. I think it's changing a lot. I think it's a very good movie on a big scale, which hasn't happened in some time. It's very approachable, but it's very good taste. That's great. I really respect this movie. I also really respect it as a interpretation. They had to cut out so much and choose and pick and make decisions. Adaptation. Here we go. Thank you. It's very well made. Is the book better? Yeah. I mean, which book isn't better? Like, for me, book was better experience, but I think the movie is like 10 out of 10. Okay. As a movie, it's really great. Okay. And the book, as a book, is really great. So it's just, there is this and this much that you can expect from a movie. You will never experience a deep world-building situation in a movie if you have like 3 hours of screen time, maybe in a TV show,
But I naturally am more inclined to paying attention to the plot, the story behind, the story of what's happening. That's what I always do, Like, what's the story? What is it like?
I didn't actually read the first book, so it's funny. But in the second book, the story is so dense. I don't think it could be one movie also, even though the book is very thin. However, what's really crazy is that everything happens within thoughts and like things said under the, under the surface. And it's like such an intrigue kind of game. Now, the third book that I'm reading is mainly conversations. Nothing even happened yet. Like one thing happened. One person just came to the planet. I'm in the 1/4 of the book and still nothing was done. So it's just everyone is just making you stressed because you don't know what will actually happen. Everyone is talking about doing things. And then it's just this intrigue and you feel the weight. They are deciding the fate of the world, of the future, like of the whole universe for the future. So it's so heavy. And I know from my dad, because I asked him what's happening next, because he read everything. Yeah. So there is this one book actually that is only a dialogue between one characters and other characters coming to him asking for advice.
Wow.
So that's all book at some point. So it grows, I think, a bit more and more philosophical, because when you realize, like, this character that is the main character now in my book is trying to tell other characters, like, you and me, we don't matter. Like, this universe is so huge and the time is so huge. Only decisions will have impact and are of a matter, But Sergi, when he is reading the second book, he is also like gasping and being like, oh, what? No, he's not doing this after all. So good book. I'm pretty sure it's a good book.
Well, you mentioned something a few minutes ago. I have to say, I enjoyed watching The Three Body Problem more than reading it. I know it's a Chinese book. It was translated into English. I read the translation only of the first part of this trilogy, The Three Body Problem. It was put on Netflix recently, and watching it was fun and it made more sense. It was very easy to comprehend what's happening, and it was, easy to digest compared to reading it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to maybe a sequel. That'll be great, because I did not read the second part of the book. I think also there are 3 books or something. You're familiar with what I'm talking about, aren't you?
No. I saw a thumbnail on Netflix, but I have no idea what it is. My dad told me about it, but not really familiar, no. So you're saying the book is worse? That's what you're saying? I
just was like, I don't know what's happening here. The way they were having the conversations in the book was not exactly my most favorable patterns of speech, the way things were conveyed, maybe not to my taste so much. Or it could have been the translation, I'm not sure. But like watching it was like, oh, this is pretty nice.
Well, yeah, it doesn't happen often, but that's great. And we have 1 hour 10, I think it's enough for Por Mujerita to edit.
Sure, Mujer.
Great partying with you. Thank you so much.
Sure, Mujerita.
And goodbye.
Ma salama. Have a beautiful week.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.